For years, you've been watching blockbuster superhero films, but did you ever feel like there's more than meets the eye? Today, we pulling back the curtain on the subtle visual cues and embedded references that mastermind creators slipped right under your nose. Prepare to unlock a whole new appreciation for the cinematic universes you thought you understood. So let's start with a big one. Remember that fleeting shot in the background of that big 2025 blockbuster? The one where the camera pans past a storefront? If you freeze frame it, you'll see a tiny logo for a certain corporation known for its cosmic experiments. That's not just set dressing. That's a breadcrumb leading us to a major cosmic event coming in the next phase. It's a blink and you miss it moment, but it changes everything. This, my friends, is a cinematic Easter egg. Think of them as hidden messages, love letters from the filmmakers directly to the most dedicated fans. They're a secret handshake, a nod to say, hey, we know you know the deep lore. Today, we're going on a treasure hunt to uncover these secrets, revealing the incredible foresight and planning that goes into building these massive worlds. You'll never watch these movies the same way again. Easter eggs aren't just one size fits all. They come in all shapes and forms, crafted by masters of disguise. Let's break down the main types. First, you have the visual nods. These are the most common. Think about a newspaper headline on a table. In one film, a brief flash of a Daily Bugle front page mentioned damage to a construction site run by a company called Damage Control, the very same group that became central to a sequel years later. It was a hint hiding in plain sight. Then there are the auditory cues. Ever notice a familiar musical theme from an older movie playing faintly when a legacy character is mentioned? That's an auditory Easter egg, linking generations of heroes through sound. It's a powerful way to evoke nostalgia without showing a single thing. Of course, we have the classic character cameos. Stan Lee was the king of these, but it goes deeper. Remember that seemingly random student who briefly appears in the background of a lab scene? Check the name on her ID badge. In the comics, that character grows up to be a powerful ally, or even a villain. These aren't just fun appearances. They're casting for the future. And finally, the most rewarding for die-hard fans, the obscure comic book references. This could be a license plate number that matches a comic book issue where a major event happened, like ASM 252, referencing the first appearance of Spider-Man's black suit. Or it could be a character wearing a specific color scheme, yellow and green. Perhaps that mirrors their classic, sometimes silly, comic book costume. Creators use these for all sorts of reasons. To foreshadow future storylines, to deepen the world building, to give fans a thrill, or sometimes, just as a fun inside joke for the production crew. They're a testament to the passion behind the camera. But here's where it gets really interesting. These Easter eggs aren't just fun trivia. They often have a profound narrative impact, enriching the story and character development in ways you might not realize on a first watch. They're the seeds that blossom into entire plot lines years down the road. Think about The Long Game. A seemingly insignificant artifact seen in a hero-esque collection in there. First movie might turn out to be the key to defeating a cosmic villain 3 phases later. This demonstrates an incredible level of long-term planning from the studio heads and directors. They're not just making one movie. They're weaving a complex, interconnected saga. This narrative payoff is what encourages rewatching. Suddenly, that line of dialogue that seemed like a throwaway joke in an early film takes on a whole new, dramatic meaning when you know what happens in a later installment. A character's casual mention of an old colleague might be the first ever reference to another hero who won't even get their own movie for another 5 years. These hidden details transform the viewing experience from a passive one into an active investigation. You start hunting for clues, connecting the dots, and appreciating the sheer ambition of it all. It makes you realize that every single frame, every line of dialogue, could be significant. The universe feels more real, more lived in, because it has a history that's been carefully and deliberately seeded from the very beginning. Now let's talk about the holy grail of Easter eggs in our current era, the crossover and multiverse teases. With cinematic universes expanding and colliding, these hidden connections are more exciting than ever. These are the details that set the internet on fire. It might be a crackle of familiar energy seen in the sky, matching the signature of a hero from a completely different franchise. Or maybe it's a map in the background that briefly shows a city that's home to a hero from another Studio Yes universe, hinting at a potential corporate crossover. These aren't just nods anymore. They are deliberate invitations to speculate. The filmmakers know exactly what they're doing. They drop these subtle hints to gauge fan reaction and build hype for what's to come. That fleeting glimpse of a specific shield in a workshop, or the shadow of a character with a very distinct silhouette on a wall, these are promises. They tell the eagle-eyed viewer, get ready, because something massive is on the horizon. These tiny details can explode into huge, reality-bending plot lines that redefine the entire franchise. They keep us perpetually engaged, constantly theorizing, and eagerly awaiting the next chapter to see if our predictions come true. In the age of the multiverse, every glitch in reality, every alternate timeline uniform is a potential key to unlocking the next big event. Alright, cinematic detectives, now it's your turn. What are some of the most mind-blowing or your absolute favorite Easter eggs that you've spotted? Was it a subtle name drop, a visual gag, or a massive multiverse hint that had you pausing and rewinding? Share them in the comments below. I want to hear about the ones that made you feel like you'd uncovered a secret. Your finds might even inspire our next deep dive, where we could focus on a specific franchise or a particular type of Easter egg based on what you're most interested in. Thank you so much for joining me on this cinematic treasure hunt today. Hopefully, you'll look at these movies with a fresh set of eyes from now on. If you had fun geeking out with us, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the worlds you love. And before you go, take one last look at the bookshelf behind me. Is that just a random book, or is the title a clue to our next video? Happy hunting!